So Thomas Partey is coming back, and Gabriel Jesus has been out for 78 days. I think this has been a little bit, worrying for us. But the timeline that was set was end of February, and the last game that we're playing in February is Leicester City at the King Power Stadium. There were a couple of speculations that he will play in that game. He would play in that game. That it was way back in January and December, but it looks like he won't be rushed. Thomas Partey as well didn't play in the Manchester City game, did not play in the recent Aston Villa game at the Villa Park. And Jorginho has been given time to get integrated into the team, players understanding him, fans understanding him, and subsequently backing him. And then that's Turner, right? That we're going to talk about as well. So two massive injury boosts that we have at the moment. Do you think that is where the title now is going to be decided? Arsenal having Jesus and Partey back. Without them, we've managed to keep ourselves on top of the table. Do you think those two just see us through? Do you think their impact just see us through, the title?
I'd actually add a third player on top of that. I think the two of them plus Smith Rowe, I think all of them need to be fit between now and the end of the season. Mostly because as well we have Europa League, Champions League next season, hopefully Europa League football coming up as well. Personally, at the beginning of the season, I wanted us to win the Europa League because I didn't think we were going to be fighting for the Premier League. And we've reached this stage, and I know there's still tough teams there. There could be Man United or Barcelona, blah, blah, blah. But that's another chance of winning a trophy. And obviously, on top of that, yes, Nketiah has done well more than he's done poorly. He's done well for most of the games. I think he's got 9 goals this season. That's not that bad. Like, if you give him the whole season, he might get you like 15 goals. But obviously, he has missed a lot of chances recently, especially against Man City and also against Aston Villa the other day, especially the one-on-one. So we need Jesus back. I saw your video the other day talking about obviously Jesus, the impact Jesus has next to the other players, how he helps the likes of Martinelli and how he helps the likes of Saka, how he understands them, how he makes them better players. That is what I miss about Jesus most. Nketiah does not really have that connection with the rest of the players. I think he's just a box player. He's a poacher inside the box. That is what he is. He's not really the kind of player to combine with Saka and combine with Martinelli. Jesus was playing for like 2-3 months, and it seemed like he was here for like 2 years because of his understanding. And also the way he comes back to midfield and picks up the ball. He does not just stay in the box. He creates chances. He scores goals. Not scored as many as we want, but we can only wait to see when he plays a full season how many he can score. So that will be a huge boost for us, so that you can rotate the two up front. I love the idea of playing Trossard up front, Martinelli up front, but I do prefer them on the left side, to be honest. So if we have Jesus up front for the rest of the season, and then Nketiah can come on for a few minutes, that would be great. And then Thomas Partey in midfield, obviously, Jorginho has done well. I actually didn't agree with people saying Jorginho didn't do well against Everton. Yes, he gave away the ball once, but people are just talking about Jorginho because obviously he's from Chelsea and we've not lost a game in a while and he lost to Everton. But he actually played well. And against Aston Villa, it wasn't just Odegaard creating chances. Jorginho's creating chances in midfield. Partey's not created any big chance this season. 0 big chances created from midfield. Yes, he scored 2 goals, a big one against Tottenham at home. But for Jorginho, he can create chances from midfield. Yes, there's games that you prefer Partey, like maybe against Man City, would have done better with Partey. Jorginho.
I think Lodri is a bully. Lodri is a bully. If you have a player like Thomas Partey that can cancel him out of the game, gives you a massive advantage.
Yeah, so having both of them fit and having those options from the bench. The other day I looked at our bench and the bench looked very actually solid. Martinelli on the bench, Smith Rowe on the bench, Tomiyasu. Now imagine on top of that, now you have Nketiah there as well, and then you have Jorginho there. That would be great. So a lot of big games coming up. We have 15 games, 15 cup finals to go, and there are games that are going to be hard. We're going to go to Man City, you're going to go to Liverpool, you're going to go to Newcastle. All those games are not going to be easy. So we need players like Thomas Partey and Jesus back, players who've done it before, players who've won titles. Partey won it in Spain as well. Players who've won those titles before. We need all of them fit, so it would be a huge boost having both of them there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the most important one is going to be Gabriel Jesus. I think with Jorginho, the signing is paying off. Starting from the Aston Villa game, if he doesn't get those hiccups, those setbacks, and then he goes all the way, just continues becoming a better player, getting integrated into the team. I think Jorginho is actually very, very good when it comes to dominating play. But then also, when you're dominating play and you're looking for that, cutting edge, right? That pass that breaks through the lines, that pass that can break down defenses. Jorginho can do us, can do us a very, very massive job. If Gabriel Jesus comes back, in my opinion, and he starts where he stopped, I think we're gonna be unstoppable. I'm not saying we will definitely win it, but I'm saying we will be unstoppable. And this is what I want to ask you: do you see Arsenal going back on a run, 10 games, 12 games unbeaten?
We started the first game against Aston Villa. Our fixture list is very good. We have home games against Leeds, against Bournemouth, against, obviously not disrespecting any team, but we have a very good home form. We always lose to Man City. So forgetting about Man City, we have a very good home form. Basically, we've not lost since last year. So we have a very good fixture list up until April. And even in April, the teams we are playing, like Chelsea, they're teams that we usually beat. So if we believe in ourselves and go into those games, we are going to win all those games. So maybe not win 10 games in a row, but if you can win 7 and draw 3 there, I think we'll still be top of the table, so that would be very good. But if you can do 10 in a row, that will take us to 5 games remaining. That will put us in a very good position going to win in terms of winning the title. I know it's very hard. I still expect us to lose a couple of games, mostly because the Europa League will be in there as well. Maybe suspensions this season. We've not really had players suspended. That is a good thing. So let's see what happens. I also had a question about the 2 players you're talking about. I saw Jesus and Nketiah playing together. I think against Orlando City before the season starting, and Jesus played well on the right side, and Nketiah played well on the left side, and both of them played well up front. Do you think there's a scenario where we could see both of them starting, and also can you see both Jorginho and Partey starting in the same team?
Well, I think that was the last discussion we had on the channel. I think it was after the Aston Villa game. Someone asked that in the comment section, and he said, Cossy, do you see Jorginho, Xhaka, Partey, and then Odegaard playing, together in the same team? I would love it. Remember when there was a time when we played Chelsea? Was it Jose Mourinho's Chelsea? David Luiz came in midfield, right? He literally played with 4 defensive midfielders. David Luiz played as a defensive midfielder in that game. Did he play? I think, was it N'Golo Conte as well in there? Look, I love giving teams respect, and this is something that many managers do. You look at Manchester City, how they played against Arsenal, right? They gave us a lot of respect in the first half. They gave us a lot of respect. And even in the second half, before we capitulated and gave away all those mistakes, I think City never allowed themselves to get flattered. They never allowed themselves to get carried away. It's 15 games to go. You need to win every game. If we go to the Anfield, I would play Jorginho and Partey. And look, Mikel is not that kind of guy that loves to play and switch around with his system. He loves a good starting 11. He loves to be consistent. He loves his own style. He wants to beat every single team with his own style. But it wouldn't hurt for me. It wouldn't really hurt to see Jorginho and Partey play together to get 3 points at the Anfield. It wouldn't hurt to see Jorginho and Partey play together to get a point at Manchester City at the Etihad. It wouldn't really hurt. Or go to Newcastle. Of course, Newcastle is debatable, but with Bruno Guimaraes there, you've got to ask the questions. Do you open yourself like that, like we opened ourselves last campaign? You don't. Play Jorginho, play Partey, maybe for 70 minutes. And if Newcastle have become a little bit easier, then you can take one of them, increase the creativity in Fabio Vieira or Emil Smith-Rowe, and then go all the way and win the game. So for me, no brainer. Their games where I would play both Jorginho and Partey. And I see it happen. If Mikel Arteta now believes that the title is Arsenal's to lose, there are games where he will put some respect on opponents. And I see it happen. With Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus, I think that is a little bit difficult now that Leandro Trossard has come in. Look, I love Martinelli, and everybody on this channel knows that I'm a big Martinelli fan. But I was the first person to say, drop Martinelli, please. Please drop him. Let him come from the bench. He needs to refresh. He needs some time, off the cameras. And when we did, he scored a last-minute winner, celebrating before he scored. And the impact he had on that game was absolutely massive. So, Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus, I think they can play in the same team. There's no question. I think Ed is gifted. He can also drift away from those number 9 positions. But I think with Trossard and Martinelli now, both available options. Martinelli can also play where Saka plays. I wouldn't really dare play, Eddie Nketiah and Jesus. I think Nketiah, what you get from Nketiah is the goals, because the rest of the other attributes, Jesus is better. Pressing, Jesus is better. Counter attacks, Jesus is better. And everything, for me, Jesus is better. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. And it would be the clinical finishing that we need from Eddie Nketiah, and he's not providing that right now. So I wouldn't play both of them together. I would never play both of them together. But if it calls for a scenario where both of them have to play, maybe Saka needs to be rotated. Maybe Gabriel, Martinelli is injured and Trossard is off form. Then, no questions. I would be open to the idea.
Yeah, maybe sometimes, maybe if injuries occur, hopefully not. We need
maybe
all those players
as well.
So yeah, but I'm curious to see whether they could play together, because we've seen them play together before this season starts, and they played well, I think, against Orlando City. So that will be an interesting one.
Yeah. So look, with Gabriel Jesus, I think he's the one that most fans are excited about. He's the ones that everyone is excited about. If he comes back, I know he's not going to bring this massive, huge number of goals like Osimhen is doing for Napoli, Lewandowski is doing for Barcelona. But do you think he's the reason why, of the three teams that have been surprisingly on top of the table, three young teams, Barcelona, Napoli, and Arsenal, he's the reason that we've dropped off, and Napoli have gone to create a 13-point difference in Italy, and Barcelona have an 8-point gap in Spain? Do you think if we had Gabriel Jesus, we would be something like 8-9 points above Manchester City right now?
Not necessarily, because Nketiah has still scored goals like against United and those kind of teams. We had a very bad 10 days against Everton, against Brentford, and against Man City. The only game there that I look at, I'm like, we lost a very bad game there was Everton, but we expected it to be tough because of the new manager bounce and stuff. We all know what happened against Brentford. You should have won that game, the referee and stuff. Man City, I don't really look at Man City like that's a game that Arsenal usually win, because we usually lose that game anyway. So I don't think if Jesus was there, I still think maybe we'd have lost that game, because we were giving away so many balls at the back. So I don't think if Jesus was there, would have been 9 points or 10 points clear. No, but he definitely would have helped us to win at least one of those games, especially the one against Brentford at home. Before the World Cup against Wolves, that game, he was absolutely amazing. That game, the way he was winning tackles in midfield, he doesn't give midfielders a chance to settle the ball. And he's a striker. He's supposed to be doing covering the defenders for the opposition team, but he even covers the midfielders for the opposition team, because he comes back to midfield, he hustles for the ball. So maybe what I would say is maybe the likes of Saka and Martinelli would have done better for themselves. Jesus was the team, especially Martinelli, because I don't think Martinelli and Nketiah have a good understanding as of now. I think Jesus and Martinelli understand each other better.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, ever since we came back from the World Cup, the left-hand side at Arsenal has dropped off. Jacques is not doing very well. He's no longer getting those opportunities to shoot at goal and going through to goal just like he was. Gabriel Martinelli, how many chances has he got? And what pisses me off all the time is right now all the play tilts to the right. Whenever we get the ball, we are looking on the right-hand side. It is Zinchenko, then either Partey or Jorginho, then it crosses down to Odegaard, then Saka. We isolate the left-hand side. I think that's what we are missing from Gabriel Jesus. For me, why I think we would be like 5 or 6 points above Manchester City, I think Gabriel Jesus, we find a goal, right? There is a way to break down the Newcastle defense in that nil-all draw, right?
Yeah.
I think you don't easily cancel him out of a game like you could, like they cancelled out Eddie Nketiah. I think in with him, we score against Everton, because Everton, I really struggle to remember how many clear-cut chances we had, how many players really tried to do something different. So I think with him, we find at least one goal in that Brentford game, in that Everton game. And with Gabriel Jesus, I think we win the Brentford game, not by scoring many goals, but Brentford just had too much time on the ball. They just had a lot to do. It's like we're not even challenging them for me. So look, I think if he comes back and he does very well, like the way he did, he's going to be like a new signing. And I'm gonna say that he's gonna be like a new signing for us.
Yeah, at this stage of the season, he's used to fighting for titles at this stage of the season. So he's not only bringing the whatever on the pitch, he's also bringing the leadership, the experience alongside Zinchenko and those kind of players. So it's better to have him in the team. I cannot wait for him to come back. I was very gutted when I heard he was injured for Brazil. I was like, really? After we're having such a good season, he's playing really well, and then he gets injured on international duty. We definitely need him back alongside obviously Pat and people like Smith Rowe. That would be great to have all three of them in the team. That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys, I think we have 4 or 5 big fixtures coming up. Of course, every game is gonna be big now, but you have Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea. Those are gonna be the most covered in terms of media, and they're going to be the most pressuring games, right? Because everybody's gonna say if they can go and win it at Anfield, they're champions. If they can go and beat Chelsea at their own ground, they're champions. If they can go against bitter rivals Manchester City, get a point there, maybe 3, they're champions, right? So if for me, if Partey and Gabriel are available, I'm definitely backing Arsenal. I'm definitely going to back my team. I even back us even without them, right? I've been backing Arsenal without them. I think for now, I mean, I'm new into the title race. I'm like a month old. I've been always on the fence. I've been there on the fence, right? Like top 2, top 3 is fine, but now there is no point in finishing top 2. There's no point in finishing top 3. Go for the title. Either way, if you lose it, you finish top 2. You finish top 3. But I just want to ask you, when did you start believing that Arsenal are now real title contenders?
When we beat Man United and Tottenham in the same week, like a month ago. That was a big win against Man United, scoring in the last minute. We usually know when we were growing up, we were used to Man United scoring last minute goals against us. Rooney, Nani, Jason Park, these guys. We used to go through a lot, but we are now the ones scoring last minute goals against them. And we went to Tottenham, a place we've never won before in that stadium, and we've not beaten them at their place since 2015. And we won so comfortably. That's when I was like, yeah, we were 21 games into the season. Looking at our fixtures at that time, I was looking at Everton next, Brentford next. I was like, wow, we can actually go on a major winning streak here. So I started believing that. Now after the Aston Villa game, I really believe, because we've bounced back from those defeats, and that Aston Villa game is one of the best wins we've ever had. As an Arsenal fan, that game was so exciting. I know we've beaten Chelsea this season, all these teams at Stamford Bridge, at Tottenham Stadium, we've won all those games, but this Aston Villa game was a huge one. Coming back in the second half, character without all those players, Partey, Jesus scoring, everyone scoring, Zinchenko scoring, Jorginho. I don't count it as a Martinez goal, by the way. In my head, it's a Jorginho goal, because
no, I've never even talked about it as a Martinez goal. It's a Jorginho goal.
It's a Jorginho goal. So that shot, having Arsenal fans start talking nicely about Jorginho. That is what we need in the team. That's why I'm always worried about Nketiah missing chances. I'm like, no, I want him to score. I want us to go into the last part of the season happy with everyone, confident anyone who's starting. Saka starts fine, White starts fine, Tomiyasu starts fine. That's what I wanted. But hopefully all of them can come back to form, because we really need all of them before the end of the season. But to answer your question, the week we beat Tottenham and Man United, that's when I started believing.
All right. So, look, guys, hit the like button, and this is where I need your thoughts and comments, because this is what I'm going to ask Glenn next.